Hi guys, I hope nobody minds my quick Facebook Live, but this is really just to answer some of my critics and of course also to publicly declare my condolences for former President Noynoy Aquino. You know, I was very fortunate in 2012 that the Philippine Embassy in London very kindly invited me to a meeting with the president, and basically it was a meeting for if you like, Filipino community leaders and those within the Filipino community, and I was very grateful to have been invited with my wife. As I said in my post earlier on, when I got to meet the president, you know, it was indeed an honor and a privilege. I've always been a supporter of the Philippines, the Philippine flag, and the president of the country. I've always shown respect to the current president of the country. Now, I have to say, when I met President Noynoy Aquino, who's sadly no longer with us, you know, I was very nervous at first. There was a line of people who went to shake his hand. We were group by group. And previously, before it came to our turn, the presidential security group said that it wasn't protocol for us to shake hands with the president. And that was against the protocol, if you like. So basically, we were queuing up in a line. I was there in the same group as my wife. And President Noynoy was handing out these yellow wristbands, or ballas, if you like. And my wife duly met the president. She shook his hand. She was given one of these yellow wristbands, which she still has. In fact, I still have mine as well. You know, when it came to my turn, of course, as you would do when you meet any president, it was an absolute honor and a privilege. So, of course, I bowed my head and said, hello, sir, very pleased to meet you. And then he said, you don't need to call me sir, and in fact called me sir as well, as I shared earlier. You know, he gave me one of those yellow wristbands and went to shake my hand, and I actually pulled my hand away, and he laughed. And I think that's because maybe he understood that I was just trying to follow protocol, but I actually didn't get to shake his hand. But anyway, when I listened to him speaking that day, of course, it was an absolute honor to be there. It was an absolute honor to be part of that. And whichever way you look at it, when you meet a president of a country, it's something that you remember for the rest of your life. And he was in a jovial mood that day. He was cracking jokes and, of course, was smiling and was happy. And, of course, I'll say then, as I say now, it was an honor to meet a president of the Philippines. I also met President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo before that, and again, that indeed was an honor. You know, the fact is that, of course, it's sad to learn of the passing of any president. And, of course, as I said, my wife woke me up at 5:30 yesterday morning, and she shared the news with me. And, of course, I was saddened to hear that, and I immediately put out a message of sincere condolences. In fact, earlier on today, I've shared the condolence book online of President Noynoy Aquino. You know, me personally, as a foreigner, you know, I don't really understand Philippine politics fully. I will admit that. But the fact is, having met President Noynoy, you know, I would say that I still have respect for any president of the Philippines. And, you know, I haven't said a word against him. I haven't bashed him. I haven't mentioned any of the accusations against him regarding his handling of certain affairs. I haven't mentioned that. It wouldn't be right to do that. You know, there is a official time of mourning in the Philippines for 10 days. The flags are at half-mast. And although I'm not Filipino myself, I respect the country, I respect the flag of the Philippines, and of course I respect President Duterte. And of course he's asked for there to be a 10-day period of national mourning. And indeed, I do want to pass my sympathies to the Aquino family, I would like to pass my deepest condolences to those who knew and loved President Noynoy Aquino. Of course it's a sad time when anyone dies, when any human being dies. Of course it's sad, particularly if they've been afflicted with diabetes, with other medical conditions, and some would say possibly even cancer. Of course that's sad. I've had those illnesses within my own family. So of course I respect a fellow human being. Everyone has said there should be no politics. And yet earlier on today, there was a comment apparently from Senator Kiko Pangilinan to say that democracy was fragile in the Philippines. I disagree. Democracy is not fragile in the Philippines right now. Democracy is strong in the Philippines. Democracy is the strongest that it's ever been. And they're already people from the opposing party, or the Liberal Party, if you like. And they are now making political statements. They made a statement earlier on today about the straight road will continue. You know, it hasn't been less than 24 hours, or maybe just over 24 hours, since a president of the Republic of the Philippines, the 15th president of the Republic of the Philippines, sadly passed away. And yet there'll be people in the opposition who are trying to make political comments or trying to bash DDS or make fun of DDS. You know, I'm a supporter of President Duterte. I'm probably one of the most prominent foreign supporters of President Duterte. And I will say that openly, and I will say that proudly. I have much respect for President Duterte. I respect his office, I respect the president, I respect other DDS. But I would say this, I remember recently, or not even recently, going back a long time ago, that many are wishing for President Duterte to pass away. Many are making fun of him. Many are saying that he's old already, he's sick, he should retire. Many are wishing him dead. Many are wishing him that he would die of cancer or whatsoever. And many are wishing ill of the president. So how can anyone from the opposing party or the Liberal Party tell me on what I should or shouldn't comment from on my own wall? How can people say show respect when in fact President Duterte hasn't been shown respect at all? People have mocked the president. People have mocked President Duterte and said that he would die and that he's elderly already and he would give up the job. And then you have another group who are posting when he takes an accidental fall and they're making a joke out of that. And then you have even church members, or even if you have priests who are saying they are praying for the president to pass away already, or praying for the president to die. You know, I believe there should be respect on all times. Of course, I respect President Noynoy Aquino because I am a good person. I believe I am a fellow human of this planet. And of course, as I said, when somebody passes away, it is a time of sadness. It's a time of reflection. But also I would expect that those in the Liberal Party supporters should also be respecting President Duterte. Those Liberal Party supporters should also be respecting their fellow human citizens or fellow human beings, and also respectful of DDS. This is not a time for politics. I accept that. This is a time for mourning. So when I post on my wall about President Duterte, I don't expect to be bashed. When I post my condolences to former President Noynoy Aquino, I don't expect to be bashed. I believe this should really be both ways. And again, I'd like to send my sincere condolences to the entire Aquino family. I would like to send my sincere condolences to everybody who knew former President Noynoy Aquino. On a personal level, when I interacted with him, it was a friendly, interaction, and he was smiling and he was laughing, and as I said, we showed that mutual respect, and this is how I'll remember him. So again, when I woke up yesterday morning and heard that he'd passed away, of course that was sad, of course that was a shock, and I do send my condolences, but again, I would hope that the opposition would also do the same and also be appreciative of the support of DDS, you know, not to mock it or anything like that, to show that support back, to show that thanks back. You know, President Duterte, as I said, has already declared this mourning, and I know it's within the Constitution, but the fact is the President has asked for flags to be flown at half-mast. He's very respectful of the family of former President Noynoy Aquino, but yet he still gets bashed. Yet there are still those who make fun. There are still those who wish him dead. There are still those who pray for the demise of President Duterte. Is that fair? You know, we should have a truce. You know, nobody should comment anything bad about President Aquino, and nobody should make any bad comments about President Duterte. I'd like to see that for the next 10 days. So I'm calling on all of my fellow DDS. I'm calling on all of those who respect President Duterte to also make a truce. But that truce can only work if the other side play fair as well. That truce can only work if people from the Liberal Party talk about a weak democracy, or talk about wanting to continue this straight line. As I said, this is not a day for politics. This is not a time for politics. This is a time for mourning. This is a time for unity. This is respect for the flag of the Philippines, a respect for presidents of the Philippines. And I hope others can show that respect. So here I am, a foreigner who has met the last 3 presidents of the Philippines, President Duterte, President Aquino, and President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. I've always been respectful to sitting presidents of the Philippines, and I hope that those in the opposition could also show their respect and be respectful in return. Maraming salamat po. Deepest condolences to the family of President Aquino. May he rest in peace, and I hope that others will also take the same stance that I've taken. Thank you.